attendance this evening. Start with these amazing graduates seated here in front of me. It's weird to say graduates. Usually I'm saying students because it's still during the school year. I had to change my whole speech. Find and replace. I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing the CTC and blessing us with your presence for the past few years. It's been a joy to get to know you and to see you grow as people and young professionals. I want to thank all the family and friends that are here to support these men and women. I want to thank you for supporting their decision to attend the CTC and allowing us to spend the past 3 years developing their technical, social, and professional skills. I'd like to thank our dedicated teachers who are seated beside the graduates over here, along with our teaching assistants. I'd like to thank our support staff, secretaries, facilities personnel, Mr. Millslagle, of course, all his hard work. A special thank you to Mr. Campbell and Ms. Zimmer for their efforts. Seated right here are Ms. Caker and Ms. Newhouse. Folks, events like this don't occur here without these two wonderful ladies. They've been here for the past 2 days, planning, organizing, decorating. I'd like to take a second and give them a quick round of applause for all their work. I'd like to thank the Joint Area Board, our Joint Operating Committee, and the administrations of each of our sending districts, the Erie area, Greater Latrobe, and Ligonier Valley. At this time, I'm going to take a second to introduce some special graduates and distinguished guests seated here behind me. To my right in the back rows are honored guests that are here to present scholarships and awards, and we'll be introducing them a little bit later in the program. In the front here, we have a couple special graduates. Graduates, please stand when you're introduced and remain standing. And audience, please hold your attendance till both have been announced. To your left, we have Edward Thompson, graduate of Greater Latrobe, president of the National Technical Honor Society, co-captain of the BOTS IQ team, and from our mechatronics engineering program, and Eddie will be our speaker this evening. Next, Isabel Caker, graduate of Greater Latrobe, president of the class of 2020, Skills USA secretary, and she's from our machine tool technology program. Over here to my left, and we'll start in the back row, make sure I get everybody. So on the far end, we have Mr. Bill Palmer. He's a JOC member from Greater Latrobe. Please stand. And again, we'll hold our applause until they're all standing. In the next row up, we have Mr. Tim Cantor, the principal from Ligonier Valley High School. John Maines, principal from Greater Latrobe High School. And Casey Long, principal of Erie Area Senior High. And we have Ms. Newhouse, our cooperative education coordinator, Ms. Caker, our school counselor, and Mr. Campbell, our principal. And in the front here, seated next to me, we have Mr. Kevin Mack. He is a JOC member from Ligonier Valley, and he is also our chairperson, and he'll be issuing the certificates this evening. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Graduates, today is a day of celebration. Irrelevant of what's going on in the world around us today, we're here to celebrate you and to recognize you for your accomplishments. I hope that being back on campus yesterday with practice and the picnic and today for the ceremony brings fond memories. I know that seeing each and every one of you these past 2 days has certainly done so for me and the folks sitting up here with me. I want to personally thank you for choosing the CTC, and I want you to carry confidence as you move forward with your education and careers, that the time you were here with us was well spent. Your decision to attend the CTC brought with it a tremendous commitment. You agreed to spend half of your time of high school time in our building. And for most of you, that commitment equated to over 4,000 hours. I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on this time, remembering the friendships you made along the way, the relationships you developed with your instructors and our entire staff. Now I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on some of your accomplishments here at the CTC. We'll start with Auto Tech. I want you to think about the first time you properly mounted and balanced a tire, or installed rotors, brake pads, diagnosed an engine light. How proud you must have been. Collision repair. Think about the first time you were in the paint booth, all dressed up like an astronaut, applying the perfect coat of paint. No runs, perfect overlap, right, Mr. Wynell, with a hand in and out like this. I remember getting taught. I'm sure Mr. Wynell was so happy for you at that moment. Computer engineering, think about the first time you assembled a computer and it turned on. Or the time somebody from the office called you because their computer was broken, but in reality they just needed to restart it. Of course, you were prepared to tell them that it was a complex problem that only a professional could resolve. Construction trades, think about the first time you put on a tool belt and a hard hat and a harness and climbed to the top of the scaffolding or on a roof. Or the first time you laid a perfect rafter or set of steps, or wired a switch and the light turned on. All amazing accomplishments in its time. Cosmetology. Think about the first time you cut real hair on a customer's head. How nervous you must have been. How nervous the clients must have been, for that matter. Or the first time you did a perfect set of nails or colored hair, and in those moments you realized, I'm pretty good at this. Culinary arts, think about the first time you prepared a perfect dish from scratch. Cutting, sauteing, grilling, baking, some of the skills you gained. I remember watching all of you walk down the halls with a little pan and a piece of white bread, flipping it during the first couple weeks of school. How far you've come. I can't wait to see one of you take down Bobby Flay someday. Digital media, think about the first time you captured a perfect photo, or the first time you waited anxiously at a printer to see the outcome of your diligent work, or the first time you pressed play and saw the video that you'd recorded, edited, and added sound to, how rewarding that was. Graphic communications, think about the first time you completed a project and knew most of the commands and shortcuts that Mr. Pletsky had taught you. Or how proud you were when you heard that you had passed an Adobe certification test, and that's no easy task. Health occupations, think about the first time you demonstrated a skill and you got that nod of approval from Ms. McCreary or Mrs. Smetak. Or the first time that you walked into a clinical setting and saw a professional doing the very same skill. How validating that must have been for you. Machine tool, think about the first time you received word from Mr. Petter that you had passed a NIMS, or the experience many of you had with bots. Or the first time you pressed that button and watched a machine execute a program that you had done to perfection. How cool that was to see. Masonry, think about the first time Mr. Wilson put his big level on your block wall, and instead of grunting at her, you shouting at you, giving you that smile and the thumbs up, you laid it perfect. Or the first time you built an arch, or mixed that perfect batch of mud, how proud you were. Mechatronics, think about the first time your robot did exactly what you programmed it to do without running into the walls or driving off the desk. Or the first time you flew the drone or ran the 3D printer, or the experience that many of you had with bots. So many good memories. Plumbing, think about the first time you turned on the water and there were no leaks. Or the first time you installed a hot water tank or sink or toilet properly, the sense of accomplishment that you had in doing that. Welding, think about the first time you suited up and made sparks fly. Or the first time you completed a perfect weld after numerous tries, Mr. Tuck being such a tough judge that he is. But you all know that if you meet his standards, you're ready for industry. And woodworking, think about the first time you stood back and admired a completed project, how you thought to yourself, how could something this beautiful be created from a pile of rough lumber? And wow, I did this. These are but a few examples of the experiences and accomplishments that you've had during your time with us, and it's been a true pleasure to see each of you grow and develop as young professionals. I want you to know that you're forever a part of the EWCTC family and that we're always here to help you, and it's been a blessing to serve as your director. I wish you all the very best in life and congratulate you for all of your achievements. Let's take a minute and give these young men and women a well-deserved round of applause for a job well done. Thank you. This time I'd like to introduce our principal, Mr. Campbell.
Good evening and congratulations to the graduating class of 2020. It's been a great pleasure to serve as your principal for the past 3 years. I've had the unique opportunity to witness your passion, spending time in your program areas at our school. One of the things I enjoy most about this job is seeing students engaged in learning and the level of enthusiasm demonstrated by these students when they're passionate about what they are doing. I will miss all of you and wish you the very best as you move on. Over the past 3 years, you have demonstrated excellence and deserve to be recognized. Will those of you who are members of the National Technical Honor Society please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that have held an office in our school organizations, including the National Technical Honor Society, Home Builders Association, Skills USA, Red Cross, or senior class, please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that have been selected as Student of the Month please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that have been recognized as a Respect Student of the Month please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that have competed in a district, state, or national competition, leadership training, or BOTS IQ, please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that have won or placed in any of these competitions please stand to be recognized? Will those of you who have enlisted in a branch of the armed services please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that will be attending a community college or four-year college please stand to be recognized? Will those of you that will be attending a trade or technical school, apprenticeship, or union-sponsored training, please stand to be recognized. Will those of you who have achieved an industry certification, such as Microsoft, Adobe, PA Home Builders, NurseAid, NIMS, AWS, SP2, ServSafe, PennDOT, OSHA 10, or the Cosmetology State Boards, please stand to be recognized. Will those of you that have participated in cooperative education or another work-based learning experience, including live work, internships, job shadowing, or volunteering, please stand to be recognized. Will those of you who are employed please stand to be recognized? Very impressive. We work very hard to dispel the negative image and stereotypes often associated with career and technical education, or vocational education as used to be called. Your effort and accomplishments are shining a bright light on what actually goes on behind closed doors, and we thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our graduate speaker, Mr. Edward Thompson, President of the National Technical Honor Society.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to our senior recognition ceremony. This has been an especially long time coming, but we are finally here. We should all feel proud of ourselves for being able to be here today. Congratulations to each and every one of you. We did it. There are a lot of pricks in Congress. After all, Congress, Arizona, is sometimes jokingly referred to as the cactus capital of the world. In that small Arizona town resides a man who holds no elected office, a man named Dave Morales, a man that looks like work. He's deeply tan and 300 pounds, of which he will assure you is pure muscle. Every waking hour you can find him working on his ranch with his large cowboy hat and a permanent grin concealed under a thick mustache. Unfortunately, there's not much to grin about in Congress these days. Another drought and a lousy economy means it continues to get harder and harder for men and women like Dave to survive. A struggle that commands them to rethink their business. Yesterday, I was a cattleman, Dave would say. Today, I'm a landscaper. Go figure. In order to support his family, Dave decided to adapt to a changing time. On his ranch, deep in cactus country, grow thousands of those prickly green plants, some so old they were standing when Thomas Jefferson was president. He now sells those plants to architects all over the American Southwest so that they can make their million-dollar casinos more characteristic of those desert landscapes they're replacing. Dave Morales never dreamed of being a landscaper. He was passionate about being one thing, a cattle rancher. His family had been doing it for 2 generations prior, and he wanted to keep that tradition going. But Dave wasn't able to follow his passion. But he still loves what he does. Just like Dave, we don't know what the future might hold. Our current circumstances make that painfully obvious. We may not be able to follow our true passions when everything is said and done. Who knows what the new job landscape will look like 6 months from now, let alone 6 years from now. We can, however, choose to be like a little-known cactus rancher. We can choose to take our passion with us. No matter what these new lives we set out to make for ourselves entail, as long as we are able to take what drives us with us, wherever we go, we'll find a way to be happy doing whatever task we choose to undertake. Be it laying brick, machining metal, or even transplanting a cactus. Finally, if nothing else, let me leave you with this. A small piece of wisdom from a little-known rancher in Arizona. Hard work really is the thing that matters most. And in spite of all the thorns, there's still reason for hope, even in a place called Congress. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce our school counselor and NTHS.
Good evening. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment and let this special group of young men and women know how proud I am of them, and you will forever hold a special place in my heart. It's been a wonderful 3 years, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all your success in your future. Congratulations. As a parent of a CTC senior, I would like to recognize and personally thank our teachers. For 3 years, you have provided our children with the skills and the knowledge needed to be successful in their careers. You've spent a half a day, every day, for 3 years, guiding them and giving them every opportunity to become successful young adults. As a mother, I am so grateful that you have and will forever be part of her life. Thank you, Mr. Petter, and all my teachers here. The Amanda Piantine Memorial Scholarship was established in memory of an amazing young lady whose life was taken too soon. Each year, a $500 scholarship is awarded to a lady who has the very similar passion and dedication. This year, the recipient of this award is Miss Jackie Sauerbauer from Greater Latrobe in Machine Tool Technology. Each year, the EWCTC staff recognizes and awards the top senior from each of our sending high schools. Our outstanding technology students will receive a $250 scholarship. Congratulations to DJ Williams from Derry Area Computer Engineering, Eddie Thomas, Greater Latrobe and Mechatronics Engineering Program, and Courtney McElveen from Ligonier Valley in our Health Occupations. A little windy. For over 15 years, Mrs. Jackie Patrick from Latrobe Glass and Mirror and Mr. Jim Thomas from Jim Thomas Construction Company has sponsored a $1,000 scholarship to an outstanding construction senior. The winner of this award is Mr. David Bates from Greater Latrobe in Construction Trades. Each year, Kennametal recognizes the top 3 manufacturing students. Each student will receive a $1,500 scholarship. The winners are Eddie Thompson from Greater Latrobe in Mechatronics Engineering, Brady Siegel from Greater Latrobe in Mechatronics Engineering, and Isabel Caker from Greater Latrobe in Machine Tool. The Latrobe Professional and Business Women's Organization will be awarding 2 achievement awards for $250. Here to present with me tonight is Ms. Deb Bowman. The winners are Ms. Jackie Sauerbauer from Greater Latrobe in Machine Tool Technology and Ms. Bella Beckwith from Greater Latrobe in Graphic Communications. Our next scholarship is sponsored through the Latrobe Rotary Club. They will be awarding a $1,000 scholarship, and the winner of this is Ms. Isabel Caker from Greater Latrobe in Machine Tool Technology. PA Builders Association will be awarding a $250 scholarship to an outstanding construction student. The recipient of this award is Mr. David Bates from Construction Trades. The Collision Shop sponsors a $300 scholarship for a graduating senior pursuing their passion in the automotive field. This year's recipient is Mr. Dylan Jellison from Ligonier Valley in Collision Repair. And finally, the Central Blood Bank and Vitalent will be sponsoring 2 $250 scholarships for outstanding health occupation students. The winners are Ms. Caitlin DeWalt from Greater Latrobe and Ms. Courtney McElveen. Congratulations to all the winners. At this time, we will begin the awarding of the certificates. Will the first 3 rows please rise?